Hello distinguished scholars, welcome to yet another online class. My name is still the distinguished Mr. Mayowa. We'll be reviewing another unit in the syntactic hierarchy, and that is the phrase. Remember in the last class we talked about the difference between a phrase and a sentence. For this class we'll be looking in depth at phrase in terms of meaning and types. We're going to start with meaning. What is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words without a subject and a finite verb, but it expresses a concept and is used as a unit within a sentence. What does that mean? What it means is this. When you talk about a phrase, you will have a group of words. That group will not have a subject and a verb, a finite verb, that is, a verb that agrees with the subject in terms of number and person and tense. Then, does a phrase make sense? Yes, a phrase makes sense. Some sense. Does a phrase make perfect sense? No, a phrase does not make perfect sense. To illustrate it better, think of a building. What makes a building? A number of blocks, right? Put together and joined together with cement and sand, right? You are going to have a building. Individually, if you pick a block, is the block useless? No, it is useful, but its use is limited. It is when you put it together with other blocks that it becomes fully useful. So that's what a phrase is like. In itself, it is useful, but its usefulness is limited. It is when you use it in a bigger unit, like a clause or a sentence, that it becomes fully useful. I hope you understand the concept of phrase. Now let's look at examples of phrases. On the boat, that's one. Above the stove, the brown hat, ran quickly. These are examples of phrases. Has been raining, that's another one. Okay, there are actually 8 types of phrases. 8 common types of phrases. We have the noun phrase, the verb phrase, the gerund phrase, the infinitive phrase, the appositive phrase, the participial phrase, the propositional phrase, and the absolute phrase. For the purpose of this class, we will take the first 4, which is the noun phrase, the verb phrase, the gerund phrase, and the infinitive phrase. The second class on phrases will take appositive, participial, propositional, and absolute phrase. We're dividing it into 2 because it's a long topic. If you decide to take the 8 at a time, it will stretch and stress you, and you might become overwhelmed. So let's take 4 for this class, so I can keep it concise and interesting. Okay, then the next video will be taking the remaining part of the phrases. So since we said we're taking 4, noun phrase will be the first in this series. What is a noun phrase? A noun phrase or a nominal phrase is a phrase that has a noun or an indefinite pronoun as its head and performs the same grammatical function as a noun. Okay, so that's the meaning of a noun phrase. What does that mean? What it means is this. When we talk about a noun phrase, you're going to have a group of words. That group, the most important word in that group will be a noun or an indefinite pronoun. Okay, and that's why it is called the head word. Alright, it's called the head word there. Now the group together will be functioning as a noun, will be performing the grammatical function of a noun. Let's have examples so that we can understand this better. The first example we're looking at is the bewildered tourist was lost. The bewildered tourist was lost. Okay, now if you look at this example, the bewildered tourist is in red because it is the noun phrase there. What is the most important word in this phrase, if I can ask you? Tourist, you agree, right? Because the bewildered is adding more information to tourist. So this is a noun phrase in this sentence, and it is functioning as the subject of the sentence. Let's look at another example. We have the lost puppy was a wet and stinky dog. Now you have two noun phrases there. The first one is the lost puppy. The next one is a wet and stinky dog. Okay, now the first one here is a noun phrase. How do we know? We have a group of 3 words. The most important word there is puppy, right? The lost is describing puppy. They have another noun phrase here. A wet and stinky is describing dog, right? So the most important word there is dog. The first noun phrase there is functioning as the subject of the sentence. The second noun phrase here is functioning as subject complement. Let's look at another example. We have the flu clinic had seen many cases of infectious disease. The flu clinic had seen many cases of infectious disease. Now, what's the noun phrase here is the flu clinic, functioning as a subject of the sentence. Let's go to another example. We have it was a story as old as time. What's the noun phrase there? A story. What's its function? It's functioning as subject complement. It's telling you more about the subject of the sentence, which is it. What is it? A story. Alright, we go to another example. The sports car drove the long and winding road. The sports car drove the long and winding road. Here we have two noun phrases. This is the first one, then this is the second one. Okay, the first one is serving as the subject of the sentence. Then the second one is serving as the object of the sentence. I hope that's clear. We go to the last example here. Saturday became a cool, wet afternoon. The noun phrase there is a cool, wet afternoon. Okay, what's its function? You look at it, Saturday became a cool, wet afternoon. This a cool, wet afternoon is telling you more about Saturday, isn't it? What kind of day was it? Okay, so it's a subject complement. It's a subject complement. A cool, wet afternoon is describing Saturday, so it's subject complement there. We go to the next phrase, which is the gerund phrase. Now, when we say gerund phrase, what does that mean? It is created when a gerund, which is a verb that takes an ing form and functions as a noun, has a modifier, object, or both. What does that mean? When you are talking about a gerund phrase, you are going to have a verb form, the one that usually ends in ing, like singing, dancing, washing, talking, teaching, rapping, okay, and all that. As long as it has ing form, it's a verb. It can function as a verb. It can also function as a noun. So when you have such word, it's the first word in the group. After it, you can have a modifier and an object. Okay, then that is a gerund phrase. Now together the group will function as a noun. Let me give you an example so that you understand better. The first example we're looking at is reading books quietly is my favorite pastime. Reading books quietly is my favorite pastime. Now, what's the gerund phrase there? It's reading books quietly. It is the subject of the sentence because that is what we are talking about. Okay, that's what the sentence is all about. And if you look at it, you know we have reading, which is the gerund. Okay, a verb with the ing form. Then we have object after it, which is books. All right. The next example is my favorite pastime is reading books quietly. Now, reading books quietly here, you know, maintaining the same structure as the first sentence, is the gerund phrase, but changing function here now. It is the subject complement. It's telling more about the subject. What is my favorite pastime? What do I do if I want to for leisure? Okay, when I'm free, when I have time on my hand, it is reading books quietly. So it's subject complement, telling us more about the subject. The third example here is I recommend reading books quietly to pass time. I recommend reading book quietly to pass time. Now, reading books quietly here, what's its function? Its function is object of the verb recommend. I recommend it. Okay. We look at another example. Clinton gave running for president her best shot. Clinton gave running for president her best shot. Okay. What is the gerund phrase there? Let me ask you. Let's see if you can get it. Okay, although it's in red, so that's more like a giveaway. But you can use the structure to identify it. The first word there, as we said in definition, is running, which is the verb with the ing form, right? Then we have for, which is a modifier. Then we have object, which is president. So it's a gerund phrase. What's its function? Okay, let's see. Let's identify the function together. Clinton gave. What did Clinton give? Clinton is the subject. Gave is the verb. What did Clinton give? A best shot. To what? To running for president. So this is the direct object of this verb gave, and this is the indirect object of these verb. So running for president is the indirect object. Okay, let's look at another example. Our favorite thing was listening to music. Our favorite thing was listening to music. Good. So what is the gerund phrase there? Take the task together too. Listening, right? Good. Then to music. So that's the gerund phrase. What's its function? What's it doing? What is the subject of the sentence? Our favorite thing. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about our favorite thing. Then what is our favorite thing? It is listening to music. So listening to music is subject complement. It's giving you more information about the subject. We go to the next one. Exercise is futile without eating healthily. Exercise is futile without eating healthily. So it means if you want to lose weight, then you've done a lot of exercise, and after that you go back home and eat a full pack of pizza. Then you're a joker. So you have to eat healthily for your exercise to be meaningful. But what is our concern here is identifying the gerund phrase. What's the gerund phrase? You can see it in there, and it's not functioning as a verb. And behind it is an object. Okay, it's a modifier. Eating healthily, yeah, it's a modifier. So together, they are gerund phrase. This word it's a gerund phrase put together. And what's its function here? Exercise is futile without eating healthily. So it says object of preposition without. Okay, that's the end of gerund phrase. So moving to another type of phrase, which is the infinitive phrase. Now this one is very easy to understand. But first of all, what's an infinitive phrase? An infinitive phrase is a group of words that begins with the word to, okay, followed by the base form of the verb, a modifier, and an object, and together function as a noun. So this is the structure. Very simple. You have the word to as the first. You have the base form of the verb. Okay. Then you can have a modifier and an object. That group together functions as the infinitive phrase, and the phrase or the group functions as a noun. How that's taken. Good. So the group functions as a noun. Let's have examples so you understand better. The first example we'll be looking at is to make lemonade, you have to start with lemons. To make lemonade, you have to start with lemons. So the infinitive phrase there is to make lemonade. After that's taken, because I have the word to, then we have make, which is the base form of that verb, then we have lemonade, which is the object. We have another example. I tried to see the stage, but I was too short. I tried to see the stage, but I was too short. Okay, let's identify the infinitive phrase together using the structure we've talked about. We have two. We have the base form of the verb, we have a modifier, then we have an object. Can you see that? Okay, so it is an infinitive phrase. What's its function? It's an object of the verb tried. What did I try? To make the state. I tried it. Yeah, I tried it. What does that eat? To see the stage. Alright? Good. So let's go to the next one. She organized a boycott to make a statement. She organized a boycott to make a statement. What is the two infinitive phrase there? The two infinitive phrase is to make a statement. Okay? The structure is pretty the same. I'm sure you understand by now. We have to, we have make, which is based on the verb, we have a modifier, then we have an object. Very good. Now, what is the function? She organized a boycott. Why? To make a statement. The boycott. So, to make a statement here is giving you more information about the boycott. Right? She organized. What did she organize? A boycott. So, a boycott is the object of this verb organized, while this is the object complement. Okay? Next one. To see Niagara Falls is mind-boggling. To see Niagara Falls is mind-boggling. Okay. In this sentence, what is the infinitive phrase? To see Niagara Falls. Okay? That is the infinitive phrase. The structure is pretty the same, so we're not going to dwell much on it again. This is the subject of the sentence in this case. It's the subject of sentence, because that's what the sentence is talking about. Please quickly, let's look at this sentence again. She organized a boycott to make a statement. Alright? Here, to make a statement is serving as an adverb. Okay? It's serving as an adverb, not as object complement. It's giving us she organized a boycott. Adverb of reason. Why did she organize it? To make a statement. Thank you very much for listening to that correction. Quickly, let's move on. It really needs to get its priorities in order. It really needs to get its priorities in order. The prepositional phrase or the infinitive phrase there is to get its priorities. Very good. To get its priorities. Alright, so what's the function there? What does it need? It needs to get its priorities. Does that make sense to us? Right? We'll move to the next one. The company decided to reduce hours for everyone. The company decided to reduce hours for everyone. The two infinitive phrase there is to reduce hours. Okay, what's the function here? It is the object of the verb decided. What did the company decide? To reduce hours for everyone. Okay, we'll go to the next one. To donate time or money is an honorable thing. To donate time or money is an honorable thing. I'm sure by now you can easily identify the infinitive phrase. It is to donate time or money. Its function is functioning as the subject of the sentence. Yet another example. I went to Spain to study the language and culture. I went to Spain. Okay, so what's the infinitive phrase there? To study the language and culture. What's the function? I is the subject. Went is the verb. to Spain is an adverb. Where? Adverb of place. To study language and to study the language and culture is also an adverb there. Yes, modifying the adverb to Spain. Alright, we go to the next and the last verb phrase, the last phrase for today. We say we're taking 4 so that we control the length of the class. So this is the fourth and the last one for today. Verb phrase. What is a verb phrase? A verb phrase consists of 2 or more verbs or a verb and all its modifiers. So that's the meaning of a verb phrase. It is the only phrase that has verbs in it. Okay, from the definition we said it doesn't have a subject and a finite verb. But in this case, this is an exception. Verb phrase, it's a group of verbs in itself. Okay, either the verb and its modifier. So it stands out. Examples of verb phrases. Let's look at it. It was waiting for the rain to stop. Its function is quite simple. It's still showing the action. Okay, it's just that we have more than one verb showing the action now. The next example we have, she was upset when it didn't boil. Okay, she was upset when it didn't boil. What's the verb phrase there? Didn't boil. Another example we have, you have been sleeping for a long time. You have been sleeping for a long time. The verb phrase there is have been sleeping. Okay, let's see the other one. You might enjoy a massage. You might enjoy a massage. What's the verb phrase there? Might enjoy. Okay. The last one, he has been eager to eat dinner. What's the verb phrase there? Has been. Okay. So this is where we're going to stop for today's class. Like it's not too long, it's short, so that we don't overwhelm you with information. Too much information at a time. There is an emoji at the end of the slide. I was supposed to clap for your paying attention, but we can't get it, so I'm going to do the clapping for you. So officially I'm the emoji. Alright, good job, well done. I hope you understood everything we've done. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Of course, there will be exercises to test your understanding of what we've done so far. It's always a pleasure being around you. I enjoyed myself. Hope you enjoyed the class. Stay tuned for the remaining part of this class. Thank you.